story you are about to see is true. It is based on actual fact, as told by one who lived it.
Well, Mr. Johnson, it appears if we can guarantee delivery by mid-April, we can consummate the deal.
Well, actually, Mr. Latham, we could stretch our side as far as the 20th, but certainly not beyond that. We have delivery schedules we must meet also.
Yes, of course. Well, I'll check with our factory. I think we should be able to have confirmation for you by, shall we say, noon tomorrow.
That'll be fine, thank you.
Now, how about some tea? Perhaps a drink. I understand you Americans enjoy a bit of a drink in the afternoon.
Well, Texans damn sure do. I'll take a whiskey with ice, if you have it, lad.
Yes. Johnny, would you please? I'll have scotch and water. Thank you.
That's an unusual map.
Yes, I suppose it is now. I keep it here as sort of a souvenir.
Looks like a military map. World War II, isn't it?
Yes. Were you in the war?
Hell yes. I spent 4 years in the Marines, hopping those damn cruddy islands over in the Pacific. How about yourself?
Well, yes, but nothing quite that exciting, I'm afraid. I was a staff officer, a major with SHAEF, Supreme Headquarters Allied European Forces. But I'm afraid I never got out of London. Thank you, John.
I'm afraid the Major is being a little bit modest. Even if he never did leave London, the fact of the matter is Major Latham directed one of the most unusual spy cases of the war. If it hadn't been for him, we might all be speaking German here today.
Espionage? Really? And it won the war for us?
Well, I don't think I'd go quite that far.
I would.
Tell me about it, if you don't mind. I'd love to hear it.
But it's your story, Mr. Latham. You tell it.
Well, Johnny, I don't want to bore Mr. Johnson with old war stories. I'm sure with 4 years in the Pacific, my exploits are going to seem a bit tame.
Not at all. I'd really like to hear it, if you don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind. As a matter of fact, I rather enjoy reliving it. Now, let's see. Where should I begin? Well, there was a German by the name of Hans Pabst von Ohain. He developed the axial flow turbojet in 1939, and shortly thereafter, he demonstrated it in Paris. A few years later, the Nazis had all but taken over the whole of Europe, and England itself was under constant bombardment. We were aware of Germany's superior strength at this point of the war, but we were in hopes that we, along with our allies, could eventually turn the tide in our favor. The American commander, General Olson, and myself had devised a rather bizarre scheme, which nevertheless we felt had great merit. He had arranged a joint meeting in temporary Allied headquarters with the French and the Russians.
Intelligence reports that Karl Stahl, the man basically responsible for building this German jet fighter, died of a heart attack.
That's excellent, General Olson. That's quite a break for us.
Yes, it is. But there are many scientists there that could take his place. Now, what we're particularly concerned with right now is his assistant, Martha Grossman. I think Major Latham can fill you in on that. Major?
Thank you, General Olson. I'll try. You see, gentlemen, for some years, Martha Grossman has been sympathetic to the Allied cause, and she's been sending information back pertaining to their experiments to our rocket experts here in London. Judging from that information, we are quite far behind in the development of this aircraft and its fuel. We're greatly concerned that should they be first in the air with this type of aircraft, they could defeat us soundly in the skies.
So, what happened to this Miss Grossman?
That is our problem. Martha Grossman is a Jew. She was safe as long as Stahl was alive and protecting her, but immediately after his death, she was removed from the project and placed into a concentration camp. I'm sure the Germans questioned her loyalty, or otherwise she would have been allowed to continue, Jew or not.
Thank you, Major. Right now, we're doing everything we can with sabotage, bombing raids, and so forth to try to stop the Germans from their experiments and manufacture of this jet aircraft. But we feel that if we could possibly contact Martha Grossman, there's a very good chance that she would have information that could quickly solve a lot of our problems and really get us back in the race.
But where is this Martha Grossman now?
Well, underground sources have traced Martha Grossman's whereabouts to a special Nazi woman's prison camp near the village of Steingarten. Steingarten is here. And the prison camp, about 3 miles south, is about here. The Steingarten is used as a rest and recuperation area for frontline German officers. The women, mostly Jewish, are in the camp for the sole purpose of being prostitutes. Now, our plan is simply this. We want to place 2 of our women inside that camp. Now, their assignment will be to locate Martha Grossman, obtain and memorize as much of the information pertaining to her experiments in jet engines as they can.
That sounds a little far-fetched.
Well, perhaps. But for our sake, I certainly hope that it isn't.
Those women would be worse than whores. Who could you possibly find to undertake an assignment such as this one?
General Olson had, of course, already made his selection. The American Women's Army Corps files provided us with 27 names that were excellent possibilities. These 2 officers were the final choice.
Gentlemen, may I introduce WAC Lieutenants Linda Harmon and Grace Freeman. Both of these officers, with full previous knowledge of the assignment, have volunteered to aid us. Won't you sit down, please? It's my opinion that Lieutenants Harmon and Freeman are excellent choices for this assignment. Both of them are experts in the field of guerrilla warfare, hand-to-hand combat, and karate. In addition, they both speak French and German. I feel confident that these women can handle the mission.
But even if they do find Martha Grossman, suppose she's too ill to be moved or killed in the escape, then all of this is for nothing. The Germans are not going to sit by while these 2 ladies take notes.
We have, of course, considered that. These 2 women have recently undergone extensive training and memorization with the Army Intelligence Corps at Fort Holabird in Baltimore. They have almost total recall of everything they have heard or read, if I may demonstrate. What is your age, General?
47.
Thank you. Memorize from page 47 until I stop you.
I know what you all must be thinking, but this jet project has top priority. We must try anything, I repeat, anything, that has the slightest chance of giving us the information we so desperately need.
Ladies, if you will close the manual and repeat in unison from page 47.
A general area survey is a continuing study by investigators of military installations or adjacent areas to determine whether or not the security measures in force are adequate. On military reservations, the survey is conducted to determine the adequacy of the security of specific facilities. The survey of communities normally includes a study of civilian population, local law enforcement agencies, enforcement procedures, and the specific conditions conducive to crime within the area. This survey may be overt.
Thank you very much, Lieutenants. That's very good.
Truly remarkable.
Then I presume we have your approval? All right, Major, if you'll continue.
Well, it seems we're in agreement. Ladies, you will be parachuted in, and once there, you will be met by Captain Robert Calais of the French Underground and his men. He will furnish the necessary clothing, identification, and other information at that point, which will be necessary to complete your assignment. He will then transport you to Steingarten to the Rotfinster Hofbrau. It is at this cafe that you will be arrested by the Gestapo. It will also, of course, as has been so well pointed out, be necessary for you to cooperate with Jerry in any manner they order. For as we have told you, those who don't end up in the gas chamber.
When do we leave?
Tonight, 2100 hours.